Legion Tactical Cutlery.
Hold the line!
Hey everyone, how you guys doing? Grugs here, Legion Tactical Cutlery. Welcome back once again, troops, legionnaires, and any new recruits. Just to get this out of the way, this is a channel that tests out knives. In front of you today, we see the Sitivien ST28 Combat Blade, and we're going to put it to the test. Stick around. What is your carry today, troops? I am carrying my R Black Taunton 154 cm steel. What are you all carrying? Veterans, active military, this video today is dedicated to all those who have fallen and in remembrance for Memorial Day. Enjoy the video. We've got some quick specs. Once again, this is the Sitivien ST28. Overall length 12.52 inch. Blade length 7.32 inch. Blade steel N690. Blade thickness 7 millimeters. Blade hardness 59 to 61 HRC. Blade width 1.81 inch. Handle length 5.2 inch. Handle thickness 1.02 inch. Handle material black G10. It also comes in green, and they do have red liners. Knife weight is 19.07 ounce, and with the sheath, it's 24.21 ounce. Features full Tang lanyard hole, Kydex sheath, and a tech lock. Quick close-up of this knife. Also, don't forget to go check out the Legion premiere on this awesome blade. Flat ground with a nice swedge, good for some stabbing and penetration. It does have a generous sharpening choil that will act as a finger choil, so should be good for the up close and personal work. It has some jimping up the spine, full Tang goodness, and let me just let you know there is red liners here. Handle is done really nice, nicely contoured, as you can see. You can see the swells in the right areas. Feels good in the hand, no matter how it's held. In the reverse grip or forward grip, feels good, man. Just awesome. It does have a protruding Tang and a lanyard hole. Scales are removable, and I'm hoping that the screws are on there nice and tight. So I kind of like the idea of testing this out and seeing if the screws do come loose. Now let's check out the sheath. A nice style taco sheath. It's got plenty of rivet holes if you want to put something third party on here or wrap something around here. It does come with this tech lock for scout or upright carry, or remove it completely and put your own third party option here for carry. Let's pop the knife in. Okay, there she is. This one is nice and quiet. Let's see the retention. Got a little rattle on the up and down, however, it's not coming out. It's decent. It's a good looker. All right, now let's put this to the test. Okay, I know a lot of you are probably waiting for this one. I was too. Finally getting the opportunity to test the Sitivien ST28 out. I love this blade shape. I love the way it looks. It just again screams combat to me. We're going to see how it performs in the quote unquote outdoors, you know. So remember, this is a channel that tests out knives. All right, I don't expect you to do any of this out in the field. You do what you want, your knife, your money. But I just want to show everybody how these knives perform, okay, and how great these budget blades are. Let's get started. So I have a pretty decent sized log, okay. Something that you might find at a campsite, you know, and we're going to do a little chop and check to see how the blade does, if it bends, warps, chips, and then we'll do an edge retention test. But first things first, we're just going to do some chopping, okay? And the handle feels great so far. Those swells feel good. I'm still, you know, glad that I added this lanyard here for extra protection. I'm going to let the blade do the work here. Okay. I'm not going to go hard. You know, Florida is screaming hot, man. So just going to let the blade do the work. And I'm going to use every part of the blade that I can throughout this whole video. All right. I've tested the N690 steel before. If you are a dedicated subscriber and you've been watching my videos, you know that Sitivien does the heat treat right on the N690 steel for great price. Okay. My stump is a little wobbly, but I'm not going to stop now. Once I catch a break, I'll fix that stump. Handle is very positive. Okay? I got a real good grip on here. So far, even though this little area, this little bird's beakish area over here is not causing any hot spots at the moment, which is really good. Nice hard piece of wood, and we are just chewing through it right now. Okay, so you can see the sweet spot right over here. Even though I'm trying to use the whole blade, you know, that is the sweet spot. Let's take a quick look. Looks good. All right, let's keep going, man. That was nice and deep. That cut. All right. Nice and solid. Okay. Looking good. Just want to make sure that I show everybody out there that I am trying to find wood that is challenging, you know, to the blade. So use that front part now. You're doing good, man. Doing real good. Love it. Love it. I love Sitivien knives. There's that knot right there. You know what? Let's go through that. Let's see. Looks good. You can see that knot smashed. Okay. Almost through. I gotta fix this stump. Definitely a knife that Rambo would use, you know what I mean? I love this. I love this knife. It's awesome. I might get the green handle version because it's sweet. Now, unfortunately, I haven't found a part yet, man. Very difficult to find something close. You know, I would have to bring so much equipment back and forth, and wood, and it's just so much easier to do it in the garage. And you know, I could still show everybody the exact same work that I would do at a park. You know, all right, we are almost through here. Nice job, man. Knife did good. Knife did good. Let's take a look. That looks straight. Let me clean this up and we will continue. Here's the piece I just cut, troops. Let's baton this. This flat grind should really work out very well. You can see it's splitting already, the log. Nice job. All right, now let's process this down even further. Got quarters here. Let's make feather sticks, you know? Nice. Nice, very nice. Okay, look how nice and thin that piece is. I did that on purpose. All right. Whoops. This is crappy wood once you get it smaller, you know? See how nice and thin that is, though. That's good enough for kindling. And now, okay, make light thin, nice thin feather sticks. And you can see after that a bit of abuse, the knife is still capable of making feathers, individual curls, what have you. But that's going to come a little later. So now let's do a little horizontal batoning. All right, let's just move this out of the way. Utilizing the whole blade. See if I could just make thirds first. Sometimes I hit, sometimes I miss, troops. So, you know what it is? I'm worried about knocking this over in front of the camera. So you know what I'll do? Let me just put this away. Okay, now I've got the full. Sorry about that. Now I've got the full stump to use. Once again, utilizing the whole blade. Nice. All right. Awesome. I'm going to process these down to feather sticks and we're going to move on from there. But horizontal and vertical batoning, we're looking good. You saw that little retention test for the edge. Nice. Ton of kindling here. I just want to show an example of what I'm doing. So just did this off camera just so that you all know what I did. Okay, so now let's take one of these nice pieces right here. Let's put this down. And all right, let's take off this bark. And I will choke up, just take advantage of that choil. Okay, good. Now let's make individual curls just to show edge retention here. See how nice the knife is doing. And you can make a, big pile of this stuff. Include whatever branches that you find on the floor. Okay. Put your sticks up there, use a lighter, spark it up. We're going to be testing out the spine over, see how this sparks up. So that will be later on. Okay. And let's see here. Got a nice thin stick over here. Let's see if I can make a feather stick for everybody. Feels, I don't know, this wood kind of feels waxy as I'm gliding over it, making the individual curls. Weird. Definitely some weird woods down here in Florida, man, Something that I don't remember encountering up in New York. Come on, Gruggs, feather stick. Let's try a different piece. Or maybe, let me see. Hold on a second, troops. I just want to make sure I get this done just to show everybody. But as you could see, I mean, the knife is still sharp. It's held its retention. Let me try this wood over here. Yeah. See how delicate the curls are. And the knife is big, so. Now this guard is kind of digging in to this part of my palm. It doesn't hurt, but you'll notice that, it's there. You know what I mean? And here we go. Excellent, okay? I can keep on going, but then the video will be so long. But an idea of the edge retention can make curls. You could, you know, stab the knife into the stump this way, and you can make curls this way, or hopefully I can make a feather stick for everybody this way. See that? There you go. Nice. A couple of different ways to practice your skills. But the point of this is the edge retention of this knife after that bit of abuse. All right. We are looking good here. All right, troops, I want to just finish it off with a few camp tasks. All right, so I want to make a tent stake for everybody. So I got this little piece of wood right over here. And instead of, trying to make a point, I'll do a little cross batoning here. Okay, and now I have this. This is a good start. All right, and then if I want to refine it, okay, nice hard piece of wood right here. There you go. All right. Okay, so you don't have to, completely go around to make something to dig into the ground. Now, if you want to do the finer work here, this is a hard piece of wood, so this is good. All right, so you can see that you can use your thumb to do some of the finer work. I'm not saying that you're going to do all kinds of bushcraft tasks with a knife this size, right? Because a lot of the bushcraft knives are way smaller. However, you could see that if you need to do some tasks, it is capable. Okay, got my finger on the choil. Okay, so that's nicely rounded off, and you can go even, finer than this. I don't know why you would. Maybe you got to make a dowel for a chair, and you need to make the head a little bit smoother. There you go. Right. So now, let's see how the handle works out when making a notch here. Okay. Whoops. Let me take this bark off. Very hard wood, very hard wood. So good example for sure. Okay. Very hard piece of wood, man. Jesus. So maybe with this kind of hard wood, right? With this type of knife, maybe it might be a good idea to just use your baton and notch it even deeper, you know? There's no right or wrong way of doing it, in my opinion. So whatever gets the job done, gets the job done, you know? Okay. Okay, there you go. Just an example here of doing a little bit finer work. All right, there you go. Now, let me clean this off. We'll finish up with the rest of this. All right, platform is cleaned. Let's start off with a little bit of paracord here. And again, you can see the whole blade is scuffed up. The whole blade has been used. Easy to cut. Do a little chopping. And a little push cut. And we're good to go here. All right. Got some nice thick rope here. Little chop. Choke up on that choil. Okay, good. Chop. Push cut. Now, I did notice, and I want to let everybody know, that the secondary bevel is very wide. Okay, that I definitely noticed. Could use a higher grind in my opinion, however, still doing the job, as you could see right here. Okay, good. So this is done. Now we have some of this mesh. It's almost like a seatbelt material. It's not nylon, but it's some form of plastic. It's still a mesh. And let's see how she does here. Okay, nice clean cut. Do a chop. Nice, okay. All right, so now kind of want to test out this spine real quick. So let's see. Now that's bark that I'm getting that little bit of fluff, not the wood. So I'm doing it by the jimping area. And the jimping area is very, very rounded off. Yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Now, you might not have this environment if you're hiking or whatever, but maybe you could use a tree, okay, and you know, tap the knife in if you need some fluff, and then use the clip point area over here. Let's see how this works out. Not too good. I thought maybe the clip, it would take some effort for sure. You know, maybe I got to angle this a little bit differently. Let's see. 1 second. That's angled a little bit differently. Let's see how that works out now. Not very good. Not very good. Needs sharpening for sure. That's definitely rounded off by the jimping area. However, if you're persistent, you will eventually get a little pile. Okay, so just using your head, you know, if you need it. I'm sure a lot of the experts out there won't. Let's try this. This is fat wood. Let's see how the jimping does on the fat wood. Or at least that's good. Seems to be working a little bit on the jimping. Not much, but it's there. Okay, and you are obviously better off just, you know, making the nice little fine curls with the fat wood. You get yourself a nice pile, and hopefully you have your lighter, you know. But if you have a ferro rod, let's see what the ferro rod does. Sorry about that, troops. I am sweating, and the sweat's just going into my face. So let's see now. Very little. Very little. You're going to have to angle it right to get some kind of sparks. Let's see the choil. Oh, the choil is much better. Oh my God, the choil sparking machine. All right, good. That's awesome. So that's what you're going to use, is the choil. Now I'm curious to see. Okay, there we go. Good. A little patience, you know, a little effort, and you will get, you know, some fluff here, okay, if you need it. But the more important aspect of this choil is that it's sparking a ferro rod when you need it. Now I'm just real curious about the fat wood here. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Okay, good. So now you know that you could use that choil instead of doing any kind of sharpening, you know, if you are hesitant about using sharpening, but can't go wrong with that. That's awesome. All right, troops, we're good to go here. What a great knife, troops. I am extremely pleased. Just a couple of suggestions to Sitivien. Sharpen up that spine, but thank God that choil did the job. I mean, that choil is, for the most part, pretty sharp, and at the very least, sparked that ferro rod. And the other suggestion I would make is make that grind, you know, a little bit higher, a little bit tighter, because it is very, very thick, the secondary bevel. You know, just thin that out just a little bit, man. But you know what? This knife as a utility knife, combat knife, a knife for the field, I don't think you're going to go wrong with this. You did a decent amount of work here. I probably could have done more, but you know how that goes. My videos go too long as it is. But in any case, I just want to say thank you very much, Legionnaires, for taking the time to check out my videos, man. Really do appreciate it. Let me bring awareness to everybody. Hashtag 22 a day, hashtag 22 a day no more. There are veterans in active military who wants to get out of the service. They do face a lot of challenges. Unfortunately, one of these challenges is suicide. So it's Memorial Day week, okay? At the end of this video, pause on those slides, okay? Call those phone numbers, surf those websites. Please don't be a statistic for hashtag 22 a day no more, or hashtag 22 a day. Seek the help you all have earned and deserve. And don't forget our veterans and those who gave all for this Memorial Day weekend. At the ready, troops, hold the line. Take care.
Legionnaires!